So, guys, I want to talk about AEW Dynamite. And before I start, I want to just talk really quick about this channel. First of all, you're going to see massive improvements with how I do my AEW reviews in the next coming weeks. And the other thing that I want to mention is that, I really like doing this. I want to have thousands of subscribers and I want to just do other really great things with this channel. And I'm going to work on improvements the next couple of months because obviously, like any type of bread I can make, I'll be happy. And then the other thing I want to say, there's people who like JD from New York and other people who review AEW and other programming. And they have like over 10,000 viewers and other subscribers and other things like that. I don't deserve that success. I really just need to step my game up. And I'm making it a challenge for myself to get a lot of viewers, to really improve the quality, make sure I don't have this shit as a background, and then also, you know, and also just make a lot more improvements. There's a lot of things I need to do, but there's a lot of things that I want that I don't deserve. So I need to start deserving them or putting in the work to say, okay, hey, you know what, the quality is going to be better. So the other thing I have to tell you is that I had jury duty yesterday. So my day was from 5 p.m. Tuesday all the way to 4 p.m. Monday. I'm 4 p.m. Wednesday. So I was up like close to 24 hours. And my job does not pay for jury duty. So unfortunately, I had to do both. Work all night, then work all day. So with that said, I'm going to tell you the things that I liked and didn't like about the show. But next week and going further, there's going to be more deep analysis unless there's something serious going on. So I liked the opening of the show where you had Kenny Omega and Will Ospreay talk. And it ended with a brawl with the Don Callis family, and it ended with them actually climbing scaffolding and then announcing that it's going to be a tag team match between Kenny Omega and Will Ospreay and Takeshita, and I'm against Takeshita and Kyle Fletcher. And the reason why I like this is because they've not been announcing matches for the Grand Slam show. And honestly, a lot of people are very confused about the show. Is it going to be a pay-per-view? Is it going to be like a special episode? Also, it's weird that you were making it pay-per-view caliber because you had the 50,000 seat Suncorp Arena. Now you're probably going to make it like a Ring of Honor special type of pay-per-view type of thing. Like what I mean by that is there is going to be quality. It's going to be better than a television special, but it's not going to be like the best pay-per-view quality. Or they may make it canon because they want to save all the good matches for Revolution, really. So you need to have some good matches for that show. You need to have something that captivates people. You need to have like must-see stuff, really. And definitely you need to do that. Ospreay is a big star. People are happy that Kenny Omega is back, really. So you can have a really great match. And you can do something like have Takeshita and Fletcher lose, and you can make them super strong. Or you can do something where one of them gets the victory, and that leads into Revolution matches or building your next generation, because Takeshita and Fletcher have a lot of promise, really. I think that Fletcher should win that victory. But definitely this match is something that needs to happen. It makes sense. It's good storytelling. The next match is the Hurt Syndicate versus Private Party. And we see Bobby motherfucking Lashley become the tag team champion. Bobby motherfucking Lashley. I'm so motherfucking happy about it. One of the baddest motherfuckers that ever lived. His boy Donald Trump became our president, and Bobby motherfucking Lashley became the AEW tag team champion. And ultimately, really, really great choice. I would say that I was okay with the match because you had Private Party have a long type of endurance match with the Young Bucks, and they've been champions for a while, since October, really. So you can't just do a complete like squash and burial, because then it's like, where do they come back from? And then ultimately the story of Private Party needs to be one of two things. They actually need to be let go from AEW, or they need to be a Ring of Honor tag team and be there for a while. Or what you can do is be like, they lost the titles and they can be like, you know what, we got squashed. We're going to go through all the tag teams. We're going to work our way up. And by, AEW All In, we want the titles. We want to win the titles on the biggest stage. We want to have the party on the biggest stage. Like a journey of, they got it too soon. They're not ready. and that's what happened to them. They got squashed early. They want to re-challenge, and they want to challenge with bigger, better stakes and being more over and all that good stuff, really. So there is a multi-month journey you can do. I do not think turning them heel or breaking them up as a tag team is a good option because, as I said, they look like X Division wrestlers. They look like cruiserweights. So you have to really sell it to me that they can have great matches. They can be a big part of AEW, and they can actually lead to something bigger and better, really. That's what I would really think. That's what I would really want to see out of them. The next thing that I remember is that you did a segment with Harley Cameron and Toni Storm. So again, a lot of people are really, really sick of this because a lot of people are starting to get a little sick of this. That I really think that Toni Storm and her dumb comedy and Harley Cameron, them speaking with an Australia accent, you don't know what they're saying. Again. She does a lot of dumb humor, a lot of Toni Storm, but it's almost like, she really needs a character change. She needs to get away from that. And it's hurting AEW because it does, as I said, it feels very 48-hour film project. Like, you're ultimately hamming it up, really. You need to just be like, okay, we've done comedy a lot. We've done all this stuff. Let's move on. And then with Harley Cameron, I would like to see her take on Mercedes Moné. And you can kind of create a story out of that, like Harley Cameron kind of being that very fun, spunky wrestler, fighting her heart out and leading to something. Because like I said, imagine if you have her win a title, she's beaten down by Marina Shafir, or Harley Cameron's like, you know what, I joke around too much, I want to be more serious. And you have that mix of a wrestler that makes you entertained by being bubbly, and then you have that wrestler that just wants to get down and be, gritty and stuff like that. Like, honestly, don't become like an outspoken Orange Cassidy, or more outspoken or a more bubbly Orange Cassidy, really. Like, so hopefully there's some character development in that. They had a MJF. MJF went to the ring, and I believe he talked a little bit about Jeff Jarrett. Then Hangman Adam Page came out, and Hangman Adam Page had a squash match with somebody. So that could have been interesting if Adam Page pushed MJF, and he was kind of like, you know what, just don't fuck with me. I want to pick a fight with anybody. So I really, really think that they should have done that, because you can set up MJF versus Adam Page, because you have to kind of make opponents for MJF in the future, really. So that could lead to something. I think MJF versus Adam Page could be something, but they didn't really set that up. I also think that, another thing that I want to see in for AEW Grand Slam is Adam Page should have a match. I'm not sure whose opponent could be, because you don't have like a top baby face. You could do something where, or you face Powerhouse Hobbs. You can set something up, really, where Jericho pays Adam Page to take on Hobbs, or you can do something like, have Adam Page, do a open challenge match, and then this is like, I'm doing an open challenge for Grand Slam, and then Matt Cardona or Baron Corbin, or you get like a top like babyface come out, or you may have somebody come back, like maybe a Miro or something like that. Like there needs to be something for Adam Page, really, but I don't think they have anybody on that roster, in my opinion, that's like a top babyface outside of Powerhouse Hobbs. Everybody else is kind of part of a group, really. So, you don't know, what's going to go on, really, with Adam Page, and he's directionless, but they have to really fix that, because he has a lot of potential. And then the other thing that happened was that there was like Jamie Hayter. No, there was Jamie Hayter versus Toni Storm. No, Jamie Hayter versus Julia Hart, really. I wasn't really into this at all. And that's when I stopped watching the show, because I was like too tired. I was like saying to myself, I'm probably going to watch the rest of it on Thursday, but I just woke up and I don't have that much time, really. So I just kind of said that, starting next week, I'm going to revamp my pay-per-view, my watching of AEW, and really think about, direction and other things like that. So what I want to say is that, I wasn't really into this match. And then another thing that happened was that they had an interview with Swerve, and Swerve was talking a little bit, and then, Nana gets attacked by Ricochet. Ricochet looks like he's about to attack him with a scissor. Like people were saying, don't show the point, do the whole thing, really. And with Ricochet, I know he's trying to be annoying, but like what I said before, with the and other things like that, he has to really understand that he comes off as a little silly. So So, like as somebody said, he looks like a substitute science teacher. There really needs to be maybe just drop any aspect of comedy. Like when they have the match, it needs to be full blown serious. It needs to be Ricochet saying, "I've lost every aspect of me being fun loving or joking." Like as I said, he and Kyle Fletcher have the same issue. Kyle Fletcher gets off on entertaining the crowd or being a heel. Really, he jokes around a little too much. There's people like MJF who will throw his gum at people, he'll throw water at people, he will take people's beer or whatever, really. So when MJF acts like an asshole when he engages with people, he can do it in a way that works for his character. He's an asshole and a sociopath with Ricochet and also Kyle Fletcher. They have too much fun. You can't have fun with an audience if you're being a villain character. You have to do everything appropriately. No, Kyle Fletcher was smiling a little too much in some of his matches to the audience. You cannot do that. So Ricochet, he needs to drop like the silly bubbliness. The other person that I'll say is Shane Taylor. He does a hell of a job. He's intimidating. He knows how to instigate people. So with Shane Taylor, he's somebody that I would give TV time to. That you need to have Shane Taylor versus Daniel Garcia at Grand Slam. And I think that would be a good, step up for. That's a good step up for Shane Taylor. He's very underrated, and he likes to instigate people. So I think that there's something about him that can be gold. The next thing that I want to say is that I didn't watch the rest of the show, but I heard that the ending of the night was that the Death Riders attack the Rock and Roll Express, and they also attack Team FTR. And it was kind of considered controversial for a few reasons. That a lot of people say that it's almost like FTR, it's almost like the Rock and Roll Express, or almost like Team Rocket or Kenny from South Park. If you kind of have them consistently get beat down, it wouldn't be realistic for them to be on television, because they'll be like, okay, well, every single time I step out, I'm like Mole Man in The Simpsons, that I get an ass whooping, really. So that's just not realistic. And then also it's repetitive, and then also it's like what people say, really. You've got to ask yourself, where's the Death Riders going? Is this going to be a good long-term storyline? A lot of people will say no, really. You don't even have a championship match or a match set up for AEW Grand Slam. And I think next week you have to have one or two matches happen at Grand Slam. You need to set up Adam Copeland versus John Moxley for the AEW World Championship, or you need to set up an Anarchy in the Arena or a Blood and Guts, like something that's going to captivate and something that's going to be like, hell yes, this is what AEW is about. You need to have a hardcore match or a crazy off-the-wall type of match at Grand Slam to really sell it, to show to the Australia crowd, we really, really care about giving you a great show. And then the next time we come around, we will sell out the Suncorp Arena, because we created such a great reputation. We need to do something bigger and better. And you can have a stipulation that if you do FTR, Hobbs, and Adam Copeland, and then you put Athena or a female wrestler within that group, and then you do the Moxley faction, what happens is that if Adam Copeland wins, everybody in the Moxley faction and everybody in the Adam Copeland faction, they're not allowed at ringside. It's going to be a one-on-one match with John Moxley, maybe in a cage, nobody's involved. If anybody comes out to help Moxley, he automatically loses the title. It's going to be that, really. And then the part of it is, if they win, what's going to happen is Hobbs is going to face Chris Jericho at AEW Supercard of Honor in April. And that could be something set up. You do not want to do something where you have Chris Jericho versus Powerhouse Hobbs at Revolution, then you repeat that match again, unless you do two different stipulations, really, because we should make Hobbs the AEW ROH champion, or we need to make Hobbs a bigger and badder deal, really. So I really think you need to work very hard on, like I said, what's in the second chapter of the Book of Hobbs, really. What are you going to do with him? Is he going to be Wardlow, or is he going to be, a person that's like one of their last AEW originals who has a chance of being a champion one day. What are you going to do with Hobbs? Is he going to matter or is he going to not matter? And if he doesn't matter, sign that WWE contract and get the fuck out of AEW. The next thing that I want to say is that they're setting up to Big Cass, Big Bill versus Powerhouse Hobb. Monster versus Monster. So I really think that that's a great match. And he has to work through all the members of the Bad Apple. And like I said, Chris Jericho versus Hobbs. You make Hobbs a new star. You do the right thing by Hobbs, and then you're off to the races this year. Hobbs is one of those people that is must-see television. Hobbs is one of those people that deserves a world title. Hobbs needs to actually really matter. Hobbs needs a great build. Hobbs is people that people are invested in. So, yes, people felt very hurt he didn't win. I felt that it was a good chapter 1, but you need to do more with Hobbs, and you need to show to the audience, okay, you saw his chapter 1, but when we get to the final chapter of the Book of Hobbs, him becoming an AEW champion or ROH champion, then becoming the AEW champion, then actually, we're off to the races with him. And then the other thing that I will say is that overall with what I've watched, I like the show. You had a hell of an opening with Omega and Ospreay climbing the scaffolding and acting like a big deal, something that you would see in a pay-per-view, something that is very, what I would say, top tier. And when you saw like Ospreay do a moonsault in the crowd, you can set up Ospreay Anarchy in the arena or something like that. There's a lot of things that are being set up, really. You can do Ospreay and Omega versus and 3 other people versus the Don Callis family. You can do Moxley versus Team FTR, Team Rated FTR at Anarchy Arena at Vegas, or you can do something at the pay-per-view and at the Grand Slam pay-per-view. But there's a lot of things that feel like there are some golden opportunities coming up, and you're setting up to those golden opportunities very well. But are these just dream matches I have in my head, or are these just things that they're actually going to do, really? So I really, really think that, like I said, AEW, they're actually getting more viewers. They're actually improving in the ratings and other things like that. So I really, really just think that the big thing is that they have to work on matches that make sense. They have to work on storylines. They have to work on who they put over. And they have to make sure that they have a direction, really. I think that, as I said, the big direction that they're doing that I'm liking so far is that you're making Ricochet a heel. He needs to do some things with his character to be better. The Hurt Syndicate have some power. And then now they have the tag team titles. Are they going to continue to grab titles? And then also the other thing that they're doing is that Anthony Bowens versus Max Caster, that's going to be a really great match. And also, I feel that that's just about it, really. And then also Hobbs, it feels like he has good direction right now, but they have to kind of work a little bit of everywhere, So I appreciate the improvements. I like AEW because there's unpredictability about if they're going to figure things out or not. There's a hopeful optimism. But ultimately, there's still a lot of things that they need to do. I do feel like, quite honestly, as I said, the women's division has no direction. I know they're setting up Jamie Hayter versus Julia Hart part 3, but it's almost like who really wants to see that? And more than likely, Julia Hart's going to win because they're revamping the House of Black. The next thing that I would kind of say is with the Moxley faction, they're not doing well with the ratings. They're being criticized publicly. So it needs to end, but I don't feel like they're going to end it. More than likely, as I said, I think the unfortunate thing is they're going to do what they're planning to do, which is give it to Darby Allin in July. And we're going to get, 5 more months of this, and that's not good. You could do, as I said, have Kenny Omega win the title, or Will Ospreay then do Will Ospreay versus Darby, or Kenny versus Darby. Or you have Adam Copeland win it, Christian Cage takes it away, and then you have a triple threat match at Revolution or something like that. Or at Dynasty, And then that's another thing that they announced that Dynasty is going to take place in Philadelphia. It's actually funny because they have the Ark and the Dynasty thing, and that's from the St. Louis show. Like, they have the Ark of St. Louis and the Dynasty logo. So I do. Yes, that's a show that I'm going to. I was going to go to the Los Angeles show, but I chose not to because it's AEW has a lot of things to work on. Los Angeles is very expensive to fly to. The flight back to Connecticut sucks. And then also the other thing about Los Angeles is that it's very expensive. You take an Uber there, everything you go to is like $50, $60 away. So I really don't want to invest my time in that. And then the other thing is that absolutely with AEW Dynasty, I really want to go there because, I live in Connecticut. So Philadelphia is like a $50 train. So, I'm looking forward to it. I'm excited like a motherfucker for Dynasty. Hopefully they have a really great show. And hopefully this time they're not focusing on CM Punk.